through today. And right now, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Ezell's famous chicken. I have, yes. I've got founders with me right now. Darnell, how you doing?
Doing good.
Put that up to you.
I'm doing good.
Good to have you here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're gonna get a few words from you and talk to you in a little bit. Also, on my far left, Faye. How are you, Faye?
Hello. Wonderful.
Happy 40th anniversary.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're gonna have a few words with you as well.
Okay.
And right here next to me, Mr. Lewis Rudd, CEO and President. Good to have you here. We're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Ezell's famous chicken, an icon, not only in Seattle, but with Oprah and a whole bunch of other people too. And we've got the Ezell's famous chicken installation here in the museum. So you need to come check that out, and you'll find out more about the history of Ezell's famous chicken. But right now, I want to start off, and Lewis, I want to start off with you.
Why, Steve? Go right ahead.
And this is just very quick.
Okay.
Just tell us a little bit about your background. We're going to get into some other things in a minute here, but just a little bit about your personal background and history. I know you were in the service. I know you were born in Texas, I believe. But
East
just
Texas.
please share a little bit of that information.
Yeah, born and raised in East Texas. As a kid growing up, hauling hay and pulpwood and, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Milking cows. And, going out there to the hen house.
So you didn't call them
eggs.
cows, you call them steaks.
With it, and at the early age of 16, I got my job working at a place called Brown's Fried Chicken in Marshall, Texas, where the actual dream began.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I learned how to fry up some chicken, left there, went into the Army, did tour of Fort Hood, Texas,
Okay.
Bamberg, Germany,
Oh boy.
Fort Louisiana.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, down there where they got big mosquitoes. Lots of snakes, see.
Need to go down
Lots
there.
of snakes. Yeah, migrated out here to the great Northwest, following my childhood friend, whose dream began with him.
And the rest, they say, is
The rest is history, and you're going to have me talk about it.
Yes, I am. Darnell, tell us a little bit about your background, your history. Put that mic up.
Background basically the same from where I came from, Marshall, Texas,
Okay.
and came here and got into the restaurant business in that dream,
Okay.
and just the rest is it.
Okay. Okay. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Ride bikes and travel a little bit.
Okay. Travel a little bit. Like travel locally, nationally, internationally. Where do you like to go?
Before COVID, I went to but still another 35 states I never been to. So
Okay.
locally. Locally. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. And Faye,
Yes, sir.
same question. Just a little bit about your background.
Well, I came to Seattle when I was 17 years old.
Okay. Okay.
And, well, of course, I got married at a young age and came to Seattle when I was that young. And, wow, I guess, we worked on from probably age of, I don't know, maybe 19 or 20. We worked on getting the restaurant together. We worked on that. And probably when, after a few years of whatever struggles and things that we went through, we got the restaurant going. And so my role has been basically part of the back end of administrative and, everything it took to get the paperwork together, to get the business started.
Yeah.
So, that's been my role in what I've done and kind of the history of, how I got started with the business and, just move forward from there.
Well, that's a big, important role. And
Yes, it
as I
is.
was watching Lewis on a film that we produced,
Yeah,
he was talking about how you and Ezell got the building together.
correct.
So describe a little bit about what that was like, because that's a very important part. And you're behind the scenes, and I know I'm putting you on Front Street right now, but I just think
Right?
that it's important, to tell people from your perspective what that was like.
Well, mind you, he spotted out the, location that he wanted for the business. And that was his focus, and that was his motivation, his desire this is the building that I wanted. So we seeked out, financing, and we purchased the building at that time. And, we just did whatever we could to keep the momentum going and doing everything it took to try to get stuff started for, meaning putting together all of the paperwork and,
Mhm.
Doing all of the background work, doing all of the, sitting around, putting together the menu structure, the just everything it took to start a business, right?
Mhm.
So we
this
started
was
this
40
process.
years ago.
This was 40 years ago. Yeah,
And so you said purchasing the building,
correct.
and we've watched that community become gentrified.
That's correct.
So there are a lot of things that were there before that aren't there now for you. Why was it important for you to purchase the building?
Well, it was important for us to purchase the building because, first of all, this was his dream, and this is what he wanted, and he knew that this was. We wanted the building,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's where we wanted to grow the business.
Yeah.
So it was just important to purchase that building,
Yes,
and it was also important. It was important to have this legacy, something that we can continue and have in that area too.
That's how you get to 40 years. And
Yeah.
A foundation to build upon.
And a foundation, of course. Yeah.
Uh,
Something to continue to build on.
Louis, tell me. Let's talk about starting the business and what that was like right from the very beginning.
Wow. So along the journey, and as Faye talked about, Ezell purchasing that building, they purchasing that building there, he was really driven to get this dream alive that started in East Texas. And buying that building was the first step. And over the next 5 years, I would watch them.
I'm gonna back you up a little bit
Go
because
ahead.
you're leaving out partner. So Brown's
Brown's Fried Chicken
in
in Marshall, Texas.
What does that have to do with this story?
Well, Mr. Brown taught us the concept, and that's where the dream began. Really, the basic concept, that battering process that stills in the natural chicken juices and locks out the oil. And one day, Mr. Brown decided he wanted to open up a location in Atlanta, Texas. So he took Ezell over there to run that operation.
Atlanta,
Texas.
not Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta,
Texas.
Yeah.
How many of you have heard of Atlanta, Texas?
Yeah, he went over there and he hired a lady, and I think her name was Jessie. He hired Jessie to actually run and manage the store. But Ezell knew all of the operations and how to actually run it. So he was going to teach her. So on the way out, he would say to the lady, and I think her name was Jessie. So if anything happened and you don't know what to do, he pointed to Ezell. Talk to him. This is your guy. He can fix it. And for the first time, I saw a look on his face that I didn't understand that expression. And not remember, but mind you, when we were kids growing up as best friends, one of my nicknames was Shadow. Because anytime you saw Ezell, you saw Lewis. So the thing was, there come Ezell in the shadow. But I knew him well enough that I thought every expression I would have understood when I saw it on his face. So I asked him, why you look like that when you get that compliment like you just got? He says, well, if I know everything, why is she going to be in charge? That's right. One day we'll have our own chicken place. That began. For him, it was real. For me, it was a statement. But fast forward to him going back to East Texas, marrying Faye, migrating out here, started the migration for the family. And while I'm in the Army, he's in the Coast Guard, we would have conversations about the chicken place. The chicken place, it didn't get a name, Faye, when?
It didn't get a name until probably right before opening, right before we start.
The chicken place.
Yeah, it was always a chicken place.
So we used to meet, going to be over at Faye's place after church, generally on Sunday after church.
Right.
And Faye would have this big yellow tablet. And she would take notes as we remember what we used to do, how we would cut the chicken and cut the rolls, what the recipes were, and they would take all of the notes. And eventually,
And this was in the house.
in the house,
Okay.
36, 26, 36 hours.
Okay.
He remembers it well.
I remember working. We had lots of meetings in the living room while they would be cooking, raising the kids, washing clothes, doing jerry curls back then.
Oh yeah, the Jerry curls was real. Yeah.
Yeah, all of us would sit around and, me, Ezell, and Sam, and Wayne. I mean, she was doing the jerry curls at the time.
Yep.
And plaiting hair,
Mhm.
in between taking notes,
Mm.
cooking,
Mm.
washing, changing diapers. I mean, again, she say behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That doesn't describe all of the things that she did when she talked about the administrative stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, but the hub, that's what I call it, the hub.
Okay.
Because all of the spokes run to and from her.
Mhm.
Anything that has to do with the family, not just the business,
Mhm.
but the Rudd family.
Mhm.
Right, Darnell? What do you call it, Miss Faye? Call Miss Faye, you gotta put that mic and say, here you say Miss Faye.
Faye
Yeah.
all day.
No, but the humble beginnings, man, it was a lot of work. During that process, I personally learned what I call the formula for success, the 4 Ds that go in that ingredient: discipline, dedication, determination, and that burning desire in your heart.
Okay.
I watched Ezell come home sometime. He's been working 2 jobs, going to school,
Mhm.
because he believed in the dream that much. Go sometimes and he'd go to sleep with a sandwich and then took a bite out of it. Right. I mean, this went on for years.
Mhm.
He was driven
Mhm.
and self-discipline, determination, desire. I mean, he had it. So those 4 Ds, I watched it over the next 5 years. And we later came to understand why it was so challenging, why it took 5 years. Now, there are a lot of people want to understand what redlining is about,
Mhm.
what systemic racism is about. And now, as you mentioned early on in the beginning of the show, there was 84% Black people, African Americans that lived in the Central District. There were a lot of businesses there. There were a lot of Black homeowners there that are no longer there because of the redlining. And, now people are starting to understand what that really means. And in the early years, there were real estate brokers, bankers, and people in the finance community that deemed these areas high risk
Mhm.
because they were not going to fund these particular zip codes, right? And anybody living in those zip codes, I don't care how much equity you have in your home,
Mhm.
how great of a guy you are or a lady,
Mhm.
you're not getting money from the bank.
Yeah.
Well, we experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we began out to open the second location,
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Stop it right there. I get going.
You are listening to Louis Rudd, Faye Stevens, Darnell Rudd, founders, owners of Ezell's Famous Chicken. This is the actual day of the 40th anniversary of Ezell's Famous Chicken. So when they say yes, when they say 40 years ago today,
Yeah.
February 3rd, and we are so excited to have them here as we are celebrating Call to Conscience, Black History Month. And Is it ironic that your anniversary you started on Black History Month? Who knows? But that's what it
But
is.
you know what ironic means? I'm not sure what ironic means. You know, it could be.
So we're gonna take a break here in about 3 minutes. So
Okay.
in about 3 minutes. But before we go to that break, I interrupted you for a second, and you were about to start talking about the second store. And so I just wanted to make sure that before we went to the second store
Okay.
and start moving forward, if there was anything else you wanted to share about that first store.
Well, as you mentioned, Tony, it was Friday afternoon on February 3rd, about this time, around 1 o'clock, when the guests started coming in there. Remember that?
Mhm. Yeah.
They had bubbling brown sugar
Uh-huh.
going on over at Garfield High School. So they had students from Cleveland High School, Franklin High School, Roosevelt, Rainier Beach. Yeah. And so we got an opportunity to introduce the product and the chicken and the concept to basically the Seattle community.
Wow.
And from that day to this, we've been embraced by the community. Yeah, I still remember like it was yesterday. And we couldn't wait to go in the back room. So you laugh. You know what I'm about to say. Now there too. So now Darnell and Ezell ran the back. There was 2 sets of brothers and a sister, Faye, right? So Ezell and Darnell ran the back of the house. That's why he's quality control today. If you see anything in the recipes that's changed or wrong, I tell you, I have to calm him down. Seriously, I have to calm him down. Don't be changing the recipe. Quality control. You know, we couldn't wait to go in the back and see if what the cash register tape said matched up with the money in the hole in the flow. That was a safe.
Wait. What did you say?
How you laughing?
Did you just say a hole in the flow?
Yeah. We were sticking the money.
So,
Concrete floor.
for those of you who may not be familiar with the articulation, he didn't mean the flow of the services. He meant the floor.
Floor,
The
yeah.
floor. You know, the
The
floor.
hole in the flow. The hole in the floor.
What did I tell you I was from?
East Texas.
We talk like that. Flow. We talk that flow. You know, hey, they laugh at us sometimes when we go home, right? Now, you got proper now. You know that? Yeah, you come back now, y'all all proper. Yeah.
So the hole in the flow.
The hole in the
Well,
flow.
okay, the hole in the flow.
So
Let's
we
get back to
took
that.
all of the money out the hole.
Out the hole in
And
the
counted
flow.
it, and it did match the cash register tape.
That
Yeah,
was a safe in the floor. It was an actual safe.
The
in
safe was in the hole in the flow.
Yes.
Okay.
How you messing with me, man? Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that was an exciting day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And from that day to this, again, the community just rallied around us, embraced us. I mean, the welcome that we got from that day to this. Without the community, we're not here, period.
We still have a little bit of time as we're celebrating Black History Month, which we'll be doing all month long here at the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum. Got a couple things I want to tell you. On February 10th, the Total Experience Gospel Choir Alumni Choir will be here performing live.
Really?
Performing live. They got back together
Yeah.
for this performance.
Okay.
And so that'll be happening. It'll be a night at the museum. So starting at 6 o'clock, you can come in, you can check out the museum in its entirety. You can see the Ezell's exhibit, and then you will see a performance by the Total Experience Alumni Gospel Choir, which you may not ever get a chance to see again. So that's on February 10th. And then on February 15th, Nasty Mix Records is having a reunion right
Really?
here as well. Nasty Mix, founded by Sir Mix-a-Lot, DJ Nasty Ness, and Ed Locke. They'll be here and are going to talk about, well, I'm just going to call it what it is. The meteoric rise of Nasty Mix Records from an independent label in the Northwest that went on to have gold records, platinum records, put Seattle on the map for hip hop with Sir Mix-a-Lot, and signed a multitude of artists to that label. Did you know Michael Powers was signed to Nasty Mix Records?
I did not know that.
Michael Powers, a bunch of artists signed to Nasty Mix Records. Kid Sensation,
Know that one.
the Nasty Mix Records, but there were a bunch of artists. So the reunion will be here, and that'll be at 6 o'clock. And I keep hearing stories or a little birdie about afterwards there might be something going on else at the museum as well.
Oh.
But wait, there's more. Seattle Black Panther co-founder Elmer Dixon will also be here later this month for a night at the museum. He will be autographing his new books, giving a lecture, and we will get a preview of the documentary that will be out in June. We're going to get a sneak preview, about 30-minute preview of the documentary of the Seattle Black Panther Party that's going to be out. And that's going to be happening here later this month. And also Jim Tharp, who is the owner of the Hartsfield Enslaved Quilt Collection, will be here giving a lecture and autographing his book as well. But we're kicking off all of our events. So last year we did Call to Conscience Museum, and it was phenomenal. This year, you know, Louis, you grow.
Yeah.
So in addition to the fantastic, wonderful museum that we have here, this year we're also excited to have events like this one. Kicking it off on the 40th anniversary. We started at about the same time you opened the doors on February 3rd, 1984, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we are going to take a quick break here. We'll be back in about 3-4 minutes. We're going to talk, we left off at the first store. Then we're going to talk about the expansion that took place and everything and some behind the scenes stuff. And we're going to get to know the family a little bit better. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio, broadcasting live from the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum, AKA the Columbia City Theater. I'm Tony B, and I'm here with Ezell's family, the Rudd family. We will be back with you right after this.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not explaining to my intern exactly what R&B is, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Celebrate Black History Month at the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum, formerly Columbia City Theater, 4916 Rainier Avenue South. Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum features exhibits and installations. It's a guided tour.
Installations include the Seattle Black Panther Party, the Black Heritage Society of Washington, the Rainier Cinema Black Movie Posters Collection, the Hartsfield Family Enslaved Quilt Collection, Revere XR, Negro League Baseball's Seattle Steelheads, NAACP Washington, Alaska, and Oregon, Ezell's Famous Chicken, Nasty Mix Records, Sir Mix-a-Lot, South Seattle Emerald, the Museum of History and Industry, Community Keepsakes and Memorabilia, the Total Experience Gospel Choir and Pat Wright, the Black Prisoners Caucus, a display from the Tacoma Buffalo Soldiers Museum.
Tuesdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. 7 p.m. There will be no other location where you can celebrate the achievements and the achievers of the Pacific Northwest and Seattle while recognizing the Black excellence that shines today. For more information, visit RainierAvenueRadio.world or call 206-290-9685.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo.
And your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and ID Yourself
Here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio.
every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
The beat of the Fox with nastiness is back on K-Fox Night Beat.
Yo, what's the deal? It's the legendary Hall of Fame DJ Mixmaster Ice. UTFO.
What's up? Who you thought this is? This is Sir Mix-a-Lot.
And this is Terry Lewis.
And I'm Grand Mixer GMS.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Third Degree.
This is JJ Hudson from the High Children family.
Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's K-Fox Night Beat with DJ Nastiness.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music. Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
That's right. Noise.
Peace.
Do you have an idea for a community project in your neighborhood? You could be eligible for up to $50,000 in funding through the City of Seattle's Neighborhood Matching Fund. Grants are awarded to grassroots projects that build stronger communities, with an emphasis on projects led by impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color BIPOC communities. To learn more about the Neighborhood Matching Fund or to see if your project meets the criteria, visit seattle.gov/neighborhoods/NMF.
You are listening to
Rainier Avenue Radio,
your community radio station.
I mean, I guess it's possible. But oh, we're back live here on Rainier Avenue Radio .world, and let's see. I mean, this guy does everything. Wait, come here, Juan. Just stand in front of the camera for a minute. He's delivering water. But among all, I'll take one of those too. And aside from being one of the finalists for the Seattle City Council position and being an executive at Budworks Northwest, and one of our show hosts does the show WIA Primetime Weekly right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Broadcaster for sporting events, football, baseball, Mr. Juan Cota.
Yes, a great man.
Celebrating icon today. Celebrating an icon.
Yeah, one was one of those in the community that embraced her from day one and has been a supporter. And one of those that I could call on.
Just real quick. We've got to go run and do some errands. We got a honeydew list for my wife. But what you guys have done to contribute to things in the community, and I know when I was at Fred Hutch Cancer Research Center, how many times I called you guys to support some of the events that we were doing, but your generosity is legendary. And not only have you run a fantastic business, but to establish your business and to be able to be as generous and to support so many different people, in the community is not only commendable, but I believe that when you give, it comes back to you, and you guys are demonstrate that so well. So I just wanted, like I said, for all Tony's done for me over the years, I wanted to be here when he told me that this show was going on, because you guys have done so much for the community, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
On live radio, live over our broadcast networks. Again, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Ezell's famous chicken. If you're just tuning in right now, we talked about the beginnings. Is it fair to call them humble beginnings?
Very humble. Very humble folks.
And so,
very humble people,
so let's take it now. So we talked about the first story.
Yeah.
And then you say to yourself, what? Well, this isn't the end of the dream one store.
No.
You take it from here.
Well, Tony, we started out, with a vision to build a world-class brand.
Okay.
And what does that mean? We used to joke about, we don't have a Ezell spicy chicken breast anywhere you can get a Big Mac.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a goal. But we know we had to have a world-class brand, you know? And so our mission started out with, we're gonna make sure that we got fresh chicken, never frozen, served up with good homemade side dishes, grilled potatoes, baked rolls, fresh daily, the sweet potato pie, the potato salad, everything fixed up fresh daily and served up with fast, courteous service. And the chicken in the balloon says, I'm fresh, good, and fast. And you know, it's exciting today, 40 years later, that people still come in and identify with the freshness and the hospitality and the, you know, to grow from 1 unit to 17, and I'm gonna come back to number 2, but to grow from 1 to 17.
Say that again.
Grow from 1 store to 17 stores.
One more again.
To grow from 1 store to 17 locations throughout the state of Washington and 1 in Oregon.
Oh boy.
And still here today. I was in Oregon yesterday. Darnell and I was down there yesterday. And there was a lady sitting in the Tiger location, and she spoke about the freshness and the hospitality and those core values. We have a value statement, 3 words: honesty, loyalty, and relationships. And those have been our guiding principles. But, you know, going back to store number 2, before I get to that, one more thing, if I can.
Hey, no, it's all good.
You know,
have it your way.
Okay. Yeah. It's about Ezell. Okay. No, I just wanted to give you props also, Tony B, and talk about our relationship a little bit, because you invested into the brand, into me, and into the family in the early years. I remember coming down to Les Shop when it was a radio station that you were working with down there running. And bring a couple of pieces of chicken and Tony would give us shout outs on the radio.
Cube 90.
Cube 93. Back in the day. See, people think it started downtown when it was, you know, the major personalities. No, it was Tony B back in the day down on the lake.
On the shores of Lake Washington.
Shores of Lake Washington. And
you go way back.
Way back. Yeah. Tony said, man, let me get you guys some airtime here. Let me talk you up.
And we're going to get back to the story. One of my favorite pictures is of Lewis and I in the limousine on the way to the authentic Summer Jam. Okay,
authentic Summer Jam. Yeah. Well, we were able to introduce the Ezell's concept, the brand, the product to so many national acts, right? And 25,000 locals out there that would come through the line. We would eventually have concession stands at the board. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
but back to the story.
Back to the story.
That's part of the story.
That's part of the story. Major part of the story. But, you know, at some point, it was decided we wanted to open up a second location. And we first looked at a location in Rainier Beach. Okay. And it was a defunct Burger King. Burger King had gone out of business. And we went in and negotiated the deal. And as it turned out, that building was tied up in escrow because there was a dispute between the landlord, the property management team, and the leasee, the franchisee that owned the building. So they couldn't turn the building over to us. Now, before we started investing into that deal, we went to, what was it then? Security Pacific Bank or Rainier Bank? I think it was Security.
I think it was Security back then.
Yeah, Security Pacific Bank.
They haven't lasted as long as you have.
Well, they but then they didn't believe we had to stay in college. Yeah. Oh, man. Final statement, that boy. Jesus. Yeah. Okay, but you know, we go there and say we want to, you know, move forward, open up a second location. They looked at the paperwork and say, man, you guys are doing great. You know, hey, y'all got great credit, cash flowing, lines around the building, and by now,
the hole in the flow is working.
The hole in the flow. Hey, the hole in the flow is overflowing. And, you know, and we have people coming across the bridge from the east side and coming from downtown lined up to get the chicken in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? And I got so many stories about that part of it where, you know, the banker at the time, when we changed up and said we're going to go to the university district, which we wanted to have a store in the university district, along with the one in Rainier Beach, and the 48, the bus, the number 48, we were saying, you know, that's the same bus route. So people getting on the bus in Rainier Beach, getting off in the U district, we got that visibility up and down the corridor. So those were the first 3 locations that would be what we had in mind: Rainier Beach, 23rd in the Central District, and then the U District. So the banker said, no problem. You guys got great credit. Business doing well. You got white people that have come over and they line up around the building, buying your chicken too. And then we told them we were opening up in the U District because the building in Rainier Beach was tied up in escrow.
Okay.
So now he says, well, you know, I thought you guys were going south. Well, what's that got to do with anything? 6 months went by. We've negotiated the lease, paid the lease amount twice at the store in the air. We hired a staff and we were carrying labor, what, about 12, 13? Go ahead.
No, you're right.
About 12,
Several months.
Yeah, go ahead. So,
No, you were saying we were carrying the
labor
and the lease payments
The
for
lease-
several months. Yeah.
And so it actually took a call to a state representative down in Olympia who would call the vice president of the bank. We talked about those core values, the relationship. So we had a relationship with the legislator down in Olympia, and I can call his name, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Jesse Weinberger, a great friend of the family. Jesse called the bank, and we were sitting in the office.
How you
if I
doing, Mr.
remember.
Weinberger?
Yeah, yeah. And we were sitting in the office around 5 minutes to 6, right before the bank closed. And the phone rang, and it was the branch manager, Terry. Why'd you guys go over my head? I put the speakerphone on so that they could hear. What do you mean go over your head? I was going to get the loan process. Yeah, but you didn't. So by now, 6 months has gone by. We are short by $15,000, if not $25,000, because they didn't give us the full amount. And we started out in the red. That began a downturn in the business. For the next 10 years, it was a struggle to get from the red back to the black and moving forward again.
10 years.
10 years. And it took us another probably 5 years, 10 years to really understand what was really taking place. While I put the onus or the primary blame on that branch manager, the reality, as we are sitting here in this Black History Month, right? And we talk about some of the challenges that Black people face that others don't understand. We were inside that red line, whether he wanted to give us the money or not. We were not destined to get along because all those Black homeowners in that area and Black business owners could not even use the equity in their homes to get loans because it was considered high risk because of what's taking place there today. It was 84%. African Americans, Black families, Black businesses in that community. Today is less than 14%, I think, less than 15%.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio's broadcast of Ezell's 40-year celebration. My guest star, Mel Rudd, Faye Stevens, and Mr. Lewis Rudd. We are here at the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum, aka the Columbia City Theater. And Lewis, continue with what you're saying now. And again, history right here today, and that's what you're getting right now.
I mean, there's so many details.
These are your experiences.
Right.
So
real life.
If you're saying, well, I don't read that anywhere, that's part of why we are doing this today, so that our history, and you want to have a concept, and I say this, Lewis, in order for folks to understand why we are where we are today, you have to understand where we were.
Yes.
And because we have our own struggles, we
Own
have our
struggles.
own way of dealing with depression, we have our own way of dealing with depression, we have our own way of dealing with racism. And those individuals who did it are the ones who can tell you and share the story of how it happened.
Yeah, so again, the community rallied around us. We're operating in the red. You've heard that old saying, no finance, no romance. Yeah. So the chicken truck would come. If we didn't have cash money, the truck would leave. You have to have some cash. No finance, what do you say, Darnell? No chicken.
Go in the hole in the floor.
Yeah, make no money in there.
In the floor.
Yeah. Man, you know, I still remember the soda machine being taken out of the countertop on 23rd. Kids come over there from Broadfield, there was no soda machine. There was a hole in the counter.
Wow.
Because we couldn't pay the bill.
Wow.
We got sued by so many. I mean, it was a struggle. The professionals in the industry, lawyers, consultants, accountants, always saying, throw in the towel. You guys will never pull it out, but we were not quitters. We believed that if we kept going, if we pull this out, we make it work. We get out. And we just had that mentality. As long as we can get some chicken in here, we're going to keep it going. And, you know, because of the community support, the community rallying around us, and the grace of God, we pulled it out. We made it through that period, that stage where it was like, we don't have an answer to how we're going to do it. But we managed to get through that.
Right. We did it day by day, whatever it took.
And they would call and say, Turner, you got the receipts from the deposit? You need to get them over here so I can make payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it was a team effort. It, you know, it created stress, tension, you know, and we were able to, again, because of the relationship, and going back to those 3 core words, honesty, loyalty, and relationship. You know, we were always honest. We had people saying, you guys owe all that tax money. What did he tell you, Faye?
You tell us to throw the computer away. Throw the cash away. Anything to track money, get rid of it.
Y'all too goddamn honest. Say that on the radio.
Right.
Live, been said.
But that's what he said. That's why y'all having problems. You too damn honest. So, hey, you get rid of that computer. They said, no. I'm still dotting the I's, crossing the T's. And if a penny off, I'm going to be up all night. Now, she was still
That's
up
right.
all night trying to find out where that last dime went. The receipt said it was $868.25, but she only counted 15 cents. And now she want to find out where the discrepancy.
Where's that 40 cent at?
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, it was those principles. So going back to the value, honesty. You know, we're not cheating others and we're not cheating ourselves. We're gonna be straightforward. But we made it through that. And it was those kind of struggles and challenges that really prepared us for moving forward to where we are today. You know, sometimes you're going through trials and tribulations and you want to quit and give up, and not understanding that the blessing is on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of tension, as I say, you know, a lot of shouting. I just turned on your goddamn fault.
I was off that day.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. Yeah. If you worked more hours, we wouldn't have these problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your fault. If you take that towel, he'll be coming in here.
Put no necktie.
Oh, everybody has some shout matches with Faye. Nobody shouted her because she won't shout back.
She
That's
won't.
no fun.
No.
Hey, I just stayed in the back room and made sure the money was counted and tried to put together whatever I could to make the bills get paid. Right?
Nobody shouted her because she wouldn't shout back. That's no fun. But Tony, you know, again,
What were you gonna say?
Oh no. I was just saying, you got to have somebody calm in the room, right? You got to have some calmness there to kind of calm down all of the other commotion going on.
Yeah. She's that navigation system that you don't have to worry about, the plane crashing because the navigation system was off. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine getting on a plane and you're on the tarmac, starting to roll, getting ready for lift off, and the pilot says, oh, by the way, we didn't get our navigation system calibrated last night. I'm not sure how much fuel we have. I cannot measure the wind strength and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And I hope you have your tickets because we don't know where we're going. We need some help.
Yeah, I know where we're supposed to go, but without the navigation system, I'm not sure we can land there. We cannot tell, how we're going to be flying. Anyway, they made sure that our navigation system was always calibrated. Even when we didn't want to hear that we were running out of gas, we knew we were going to run out of gas. Don't tell us that.
You can either stop and get gas or we can crash.
Or just sit here. Yeah, just sit here, until the gas truck come or, we find a way. But, again, by the grace of God and the community and us just keeping the faith and believing that we can, we move through that. And then we got another store open in Linwood. That one worked for a while, and then we got relocated. Opened up the store in Woodinville, and Darnell became the governor over there. The mayor of Woodinville is what they call it.
Yeah,
that store has been going strong for what now? 17, 18 years.
Wow.
It's the highest efficiency store in the system out of all 17.
Wow.
The lowest food costs, the lowest labor, and it's the most efficient and never get complaints.
All right.
Yeah, I love that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
No, but he again, he was that quality control guy. And in the back of the house, and then watching how things ran on the front and just keeping the core values. Don't cheat the guests, don't cheat each other, respecting your team members. If you respect them, you respect the guests. But again, I go over there sometimes and everybody knows him when they walk up. He's sitting out there on the sidewalk and standing around meeting and greeting. I go to the bank and they go, "Where's the mayor at the bank?"
Basically the mayor.
Yeah. But we would move from there and get the Skyway store open, get a renting store, got the Tacoma store open up, and then we would eventually
Don't just fly by that. Got the Skyway store open. Got the renting store open. Got the Tacoma store open.
Yeah. And fast forward, we start focusing on really building that structure that has those systems and standards that will allow us to scale nationwide so we can have that consistency for that spicy chicken breast where we position it next to the Big Mac, in any city. In fact, talk about the experience in Dubai.
It was fun, exciting.
So what we're talking about is you opened a store in Dubai?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun and exciting, challenging and very hot. Very hot. I remember the first week we were setting up and the AC went out.
Oh yeah.
In the store.
Not in Dubai.
Yeah.
The AC went out.
Oh yeah.
You could feel these shoes melting under your feet that hot. A lot of stuff that we take here, we could go to the grocery store and buy for the store and get the recipes right. Over there, it was like a challenge because, because the wording and everything was just different. It was different. You said one word here that means milk. Here, over there, it meant something totally different.
Totally different.
But it was fun though. It was fun. Great experience.
And trying to make the bread when the water coming out the spigot was hot. already. Yeah. You have to, yeah, have to run the water and put it in the cooler before we can make the bread.
It was too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also gratifying to get it open. And again, Darnell played a major role in that. He and Adrian and the rest of the team.
My wife, yeah.
Yeah. And getting all of the supplies and everything that we needed and getting that store up and running. And Rashid Muhammad, that brother, yeah, it was his idea. It was a franchise unit. He passed away, so may he rest in peace. But that opportunity and that experience, and to see Muslim brothers coming in and Muslim sisters coming in there and lining up and getting that chicken and loving it. And the other thing about over there, you know, here we've got many requests to have some Muslim not kosher, halal chicken. Excuse me, brother. Halal chicken. Because we've gotten both, you know, but having halal chicken, and it means that we have to have a special system in place, equipment to prepare it to keep it separate. And we haven't been able to do that, but on special occasions, we've got a couple of brothers that have called up and say, hey man, can y'all hook us up today after Ramadan, and we cook it up. But over there, all of the chicken is halal. So that was not a challenge for us. Yeah. You know, and so we have people lined up coming in there, and they were eating it and they were loving it. And we look forward to another opportunity to go back and revisit that. But it did give us confidence, you know, and taught us that if we put forth the effort, we can achieve. And we did. That was a great experience, though. Something that, guys, you know, Darnell and I was joking about it. We were standing out there with a big tray of chicken after the first batch we cooked up from East Texas to the Middle East. 2 country boys.
Yeah.
First batch, all about the chicken.
You are getting exclusive information on the history of Ezell's famous chicken this Black History Month. This is history. 40th year celebration of Ezell's famous chicken. Today, 40 years ago, February 3rd, 1984. We're almost out of time, but I want to make sure that I give time to every one of you. I'm going to start with you, Darnell. Anything that you'd like to say, and you can make it as short or as long as you want to the folks out there. 40 years in the community. What would you like to share with tell them?
Well, I just thank you for the community that supported us and really appreciate it. And, you know, before Oprah and the Seattle Times, there was a fax newspaper in the community that supported us. So we want to make sure we're sitting that out. But that's it.
Okay. And say, same thing. I want to give you an opportunity to say whatever it is that you'd like to say from your perspective on this 40th anniversary. And if you are just tuning in right now, you can go back and you can hear this story to hear how we got to this point that we are right now. But anything that you would like to say in the 40 years of doing this and everything that we've heard over the last 55 minutes to our audience right now, Faith?
Well, yes, thank you. I want to say thank you, Tony, for having us on. This was wonderful. And so thank you. And this is an exciting day. And I would like to say thank you to the community for all the support that we've gotten from, you know, everybody over the 40 years. I mean, thank you so much for everything that, you know, everyone's done to help support this business and to just, you know, continue to support us as we move forward in the future too. So thanks so much for everything.
All right. Big Lou
coming through.
What would you like to say? First of all, thank all of you for joining me here today and allowing us in our community to be part of your 40-year celebration. You know, you're busy, you got a lot going on, and so thank all of you for being here. Thank you for what you've done, for how you have contributed in so many ways. We didn't even talk yet about the 40 for 40. You know what I mean? And so I want to make sure you get that in. But so in so many ways, Ezell's Famous Chicken not only gave us the chicken that we love, but supported so many interests, endeavors, community events, businesses throughout this 40 years. That also was part of being a staple in the community, what I call community currency. You know, so thank y'all for being who you are, and in the midst of, even when you were going through this 10 years, that as a community, we didn't know about, because you kept being strong in the community while you were going through that and continuing to support the community. So, now, Mr. Rudd, would you say something to our audience?
Well, Tony, you mentioned the 40 for 40. So we had a very, very special young lady in Hazel Danielle Clayton, who was our community outreach specialist. You know, she brought structure to our community giving and interaction with those community partners. So you would remember the 35th anniversary, the 25th, and all of the anniversaries along the way. This time, instead of us going to a party or having an event that celebrates us, we want to continue in that spirit of celebrating those that have participated in making us who we are. So the 40 for 40, we're encouraging the guests to go in and out of the locations to just upcharge 40 cents, put 40 cents on the counter in honor of the Hazel Danielle Clayton Foundation, which the proceeds will go to grants for organizations that focus on kids and youth in our communities and providing education. So that's one thing. Another thing, Tony, just being appreciative, again, of the opportunity to sit here with you today, my good friend. Yeah, I know you didn't have to.
There you go.
For doing it, you know? You didn't have to, but you did. You chose to bring us in and give us an opportunity to share a bit about who we are. The Rush Rub Initiative. You know, when we were growing up as kids, our parents, if something hurt, they would say, "Come here, let me rub it," right? Just a touch of the hand would ease the pain. So RUB is the acronym for Raising Up Black Business. Okay. So we started an initiative. So our legacy as we move forward, we want it to be about that impact that we're having in the African American community. We understand how challenging it is for Black-owned businesses and entrepreneurs to get access to capital. They also need access to information. So we've given out over $75,000 in grants to
I'm sorry, I can't hear in this here. Say that again.
We've given out today, in the last 3 years, over $75,000 in grants to Black business owners, Black entrepreneurs, to help them to advance their businesses. In addition to that, we also understand.
I'm gonna run that back one more time. 75 racks.
All right.
Back to the community. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr.
And in addition to access to capital, we also understand the value of important information. So we also started 2 years ago the Black Business Leadership Conference under the Rub Initiative. And we'll host the third one this year at the University of Washington. And we're hoping to get even more. Last year was over 225 guests, Black entrepreneurs, Black business owners. Some of our partners and vendors and sponsors showed up to support the event. The mayor was the keynote speaker there, understanding the importance. So we'll be out there again. And again, as we move forward, we want our legacy to be about that, impactful in the community.
Wow. 40 years. Ezell's Famous Chicken celebrating 40 years today.
Yeah. We made it.
Of being in the community. I hope.
Hey, that's 4 decades.
That is 4 decades. That is 4 decades. I know that you've enjoyed listening.
Tony, can I say one other thing?
Oh, yeah.
I've got my daughter sitting there looking over there. Actually, she's not paying us any attention. But you know, her and Sam's daughter, one of the co-founders, started the first food truck. Called themselves the Next Generation, taking it mobile. Yeah. So they introduced. Come on. So they introduced the food truck to the community.
Come on over here. Come over here.
There you go. Yeah. Sit on Uncle Darnell's knee. You can do that. Yeah.
How are you doing? Okay. So anything that you would like to say about being part of this journey as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Can anyone imagine having this as a father? My dad has been amazing in supporting me and my endeavors. The food truck was a learning experience, what it's like to work with family and what it's like to be a business owner, a Black female business owner. I learned all those things, so it's been quite the journey.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we brought you up and brought you over here. You know, and you're all grown up.
You remember the look. I mean, yeah.
Wow. Anything else? Anybody? Louis, anything anybody else? I want to say we're almost out of time here, but I just want to make sure that I give everybody more.
I send a shout out to my wife, my boss, my sons, and
call the name. Say the name.
Adrian Rudd, Jeremy Rudd, Nathan Rudd. I got some grandkids running around. There's a lot of them. So
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to my wife and for supporting us as well, because she was one of the first employees.
She was there from 1984.
Yes.
In fact, where did y'all meet? In the kitchen?
In the kitchen. She knows how to clean a garbage can. I'm like, no, we got to get you off that.
Right.
She came in the door as the boss, so she's still my boss. But
yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Do you know what I have to say too? That we've had some amazing team members, employees that has worked for us over the years. So, got to give thanks to all the team members that we've.
Hey, if you were to guess how many have come
oh
through
my goodness,
over the years,
thousands.
How many thousand would you say? 10,000?
Probably at least.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Over
yeah.
the years
that have been
employed. That have been employed.
Yeah.
And many have gone on to own businesses, own homes, get degrees in education. We got a pastor that was a hostess, cashier in the day, and the team that we have today in place. We've got a great team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and building out that structure with the system that's scalable. We got a director of operations, director of marketing, a community marketing specialist on hand, a director of training, the CEO for the growth arm of the company. Dennis, give him a big shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's helped us really with the franchising model to build that out. Dave Kitchen, give him a big shout out.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got a great team of people right now on staff. Yeah. And over the years, the many that have come through that still come back sometime and bring their kids and say, hey, can you give my son a job? Can you give my daughter a job? Yeah, but anyway, it's just a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a real blessing.
Yeah, the full team. And then we also have to, give thanks to all of our family members that have been there throughout this whole journey too.
In fact, we still have actively involved in the business. We got Melba. She's number one born, not the oldest sister. Number one born. Let's not get it twisted. Yeah. And then we got the second born holding it down on the corner of 23rd and Jefferson, the Anchor store. Okay. Yeah, he's been holding it down there. Michael Wayne, number two born. Yeah. Yeah. But we still got family members in, and then Mike and Brian has been a part of the business. All of the family members have been in some way engaged and involved in the business and participating in some way. Yeah,
So-
Jennifer holding it down over in Tacoma now.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jen. Yeah, yeah, Jen.
Give a shout out to Jennifer. She was my partner with the food truck. So now she's at Tacoma running the store. So she's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, this is how we get down. It's not like the Grammys. We don't start playing music and say, wrap it up, wrap it up. That's why I said, any last words, give you some time to breathe and think about it. Because this is your 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
4 decades.
Oh. Yeah, not glory. Oh. You know, and I mean, it's just so many that we can give shout out. And the list just goes on. And definitely family, you know, those 5 F's, Tony. Faith, family, finances, friends. If you ain't got no friends, how can you have fun? That 4th, 5th F never comes into play. Yeah. But faith and then family. And those things I got in principle. Yeah.
You have been listening to Rainier Avenue Radio sharing the 40th year celebration of Ezell's famous chicken.
And you didn't get the whole story, so I don't want anybody thinking that, man, they didn't say, no, we didn't tell the whole story. We ran out of time.
We had out of time. We ran out of time.
Yeah, and we jumping about.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's what we wanted to do. Sit here, give you the opportunity to share your story. You want to hear more and find out more about Ezell's famous chicken, come down right here to the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum, 4916 Rainier Avenue South. We've got an exhibit. And I don't think y'all have seen the exhibit yet, have you?
No.
You got a glance.
Oh,
Right here. And you'll hear more of the stories, you'll see more of the visuals of the contributions.
Maybe get a piece of chicken.
You might get a piece of You know, the Seahawks stuff we didn't talk about.
We didn't even talk about
but
that.
there's a
We didn't
lot.
even tell the Oprah story.
We didn't tell the Oprah story. So come down to the theater and you'll have an opportunity to see some of the history of Ezell's famous chicken, 40 years of being in our community and giving back to our community. I'm going to run again about a list of things that we have coming up for you. Next Saturday, we're going to have the Total Experience Gospel Choir, alumni choir here, performing here, one of the first times, and who knows if they're going to
Who are they honoring?
Pat Wright.
The great Pat Wright.
The great Pat Wright.
Man.
For those of you, when I say this, is
Black nativity comes to mind.
You're saying all the things that need to be said, because some folks make Total Experience Gospel Choir. This gospel choir has performed in 22 countries.
Yes.
Again, started off same humble beginning.
Yes.
Over 38 states, performed for 2 presidents, Clinton, President Obama. 3 members of the Total Gospel Experience Choir went on to be finalists of American Idol.
Yes.
And many went on to a number of different things. That alumni choir, Total Experience Alumni Gospel Choir, will be performing here on the 10th, next Saturday. And so you get to come in, you get to see the museum, you see the Ezell's exhibit, the Seattle Black Panther Party exhibit, the Jackson Street exhibit, the Hartsfield Quilt Collection exhibit, my collection of posters from Black vintage posters. And I'm going to have to stop talking, because this used to be the Rainier Cinema.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, you don't know that.
Right.
It was the Rainier Cinema. So come on down for that. Then on the 15th, Nasty Mix Records, Mix-a-Lot. I think you know who he is, just in case you don't know, because we're going way back, about 38 years on this one, not quite 40, but
yeah.
The Nasty Mix Records and their rise as well. 6 o'clock, the Nasty Mix Records artists will be here. We're going to be interviewing them and talking to them. And Little Birdie's telling me that something may be happening that night as well, so you'll get to experience the museum. Nasty Mix Records will be in the house. But wait, there is more. The co-founder of the Seattle Black Panther Party, Mr. Elmer Dixon, will be here. He'll be signing his book, giving a lecture, and giving us a sneak preview of an amazing documentary about the Seattle Black Panther Party, which I know y'all are familiar with the history of these. And they started.
His daughter was one of our very first employees.
Wow.
Yes, remember. Shout out.
And they stopped 17, 18, 19 years old when they founded the Seattle Black Panther. 17, 18, 19 years old when they started the Seattle Black Panther Party. The first Black Panther Party chapter founded outside of the state of California. And they did things that started here that went national. Talking about Seattle Black Panther Party. Be here. So catch that 30-minute preview. You don't want to miss that. Documentary will come out in June. But because you're here, you can catch the preview. You see 30-minute shortcut. And thanks to Mr. Rick Dupree, who was creating that film, and Marcus Dupree, and agreed to show that to us. So we'll give you the exact date, but it will be coming up sometime after the 22nd. And then the Hartsfield quilt, enslaved quilt collection. You don't know about the quilt codes. These were codes that were written into quilts for us to communicate. And they were also very important on the Underground Railroad. Now, academia says that there were no quilt codes. And academia says that because it wasn't written down, we can't validate. Well, first of all, why would you write down the code to the pathway to freedom? So we just, oral traditions is something that is again, very valid in the African and African American community, but also in the quilting, these codes. This family continued, like other families did, to keep these codes in their quilt and continuing in quilting. We have authentic quilts here that show those codes. We got a quilt here from 1850.
I saw that one.
Yeah. So Jim Tharp, owner of the Hartsfield Quilt Collection, will be here doing an interview, a lecture, and talking about the quilts, and we'll be talking about the quilt codes as well. And we'll be here, and we got an extra day this month, so 29. We caught the leap year. So once again, thank you for listening.
Tony,
yes, sir.
Who owns this building? No, I don't know many black men that own buildings. Thank you for hosting this, Tony, because you could have done anything else. And I know you don't have to, but thank you for allowing us to be here in your building.
Thank you. And thank you. And of course, the opportunity to host an entire month of Black History.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what am I going to do for Black History Month? I had this building. I'm not going to do one. I'm going to do a whole month. Because I knew that my community would come and participate. And so thank you for being in the museum. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for all of our installations that are here right now. Again, we're celebrating the 40th year of Ezell's Famous Chicken. I know we went a little overtime, today, but that's okay.
It's your building, Tony. And it's your radio station, Tony. Now, let me quit.
So we've been taking it down. This has been great. That's it. That's all the time that I have. That's gonna do it for the kids. It's me, Tony B, saying, remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. I'm